What's going on, guys? I'm Abe and welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking John Wick 3. Man, I'm excited to talk about this one. So here's how I'm going to structure the video. I'm going to talk to you guys first off about what I loved about the movie, then what I didn't quite like about the movie, then onto what I hope from a sequel, and I'll give you my final score at the very end of the video. So here's what I loved about this movie. If you guys have seen the John Wick franchise, which I surely hope you have, if you're watching this, spoiler warning by the way, because we're going to get into it. The insane action. Oh my god. This movie took what the first two did and took it to frickin' 11 and just went nuts from start to end, and it was just beautifully done. Just insane. There were some incredible moments. All of the amazing famous actors in this that played these great characters that have some returning, some new, just killed it in this movie. If it wasn't for the story of the first movie, that this would take the cake for me. But that first movie story, there's something so good about that first movie that it's still on the top of the list, but this is right next to it. I think it's a little better than the second one. The action is for sure better. There were some great sequences. I loved the Halle Berry sequence when her character comes in and you could see her a part of this huge fight scene, and she has these two really vicious dogs. It was brutal, insane, and she kicks just as much ass as John Wick, and that was just so much fun to watch. One of the biggest things about this movie was I had no idea exactly where the story was going to go, other than the fact that they were going to have John Wick basically versus the world, and they definitely delivered on that. But they also gave me a couple of surprises I wasn't expecting, especially towards the end when Winston backstabs and kind of betrays John at the very, very end, and the fact that they killed the Bowery King, and then all of a sudden he's still alive at the end, was just nuts. I was hoping to see, and this will kind of venture into what I didn't quite like about the movie, I was hoping to see him go to resolve his issue, the conflict of this entire story, by taking out the High Table, but instead they didn't quite cover that, and they left it for what I hope is going to be the next movie. But yeah, I mean, there's not too much of any negatives for this movie. My only major negative, like I said, was really just the fact that he didn't get to go against the High Table in this. I totally thought he would, but they're saving it. I think they're going to make a really big spectacle out of it, but what they did with this story was pretty cool. But, you know, I still feel like it could have been a little better, could have added more to it, and who knows. But just when you walk away from this movie, you're not going to be upset. You're definitely not going to hate it or find it stupid unless you found the first two that way. But if you have, you wouldn't be watching this video right now. So, John Wick 3 just delivers on insane action, and it was just a ton of fun to watch. If you enjoyed the first two movies, you're going to definitely enjoy the hell out of this one. The action sequences are top-notch. Keanu Reeves kills it as John Wick once again, and look, this movie was stellar. Before we close this video out, let's just I'm going to give you guys my big final score for this and kind of a little bit of my reasoning behind it. So my big score for this is an 8 out of 10. Now, I would have given it a slightly higher score, but once again, I still feel like the story was missing just a little bit of something, and it could have really had something good going for it. But there was some really cool elements in here that were really fun to watch, but it lacked a little of that charm that the first movie had. And I think it could have been because this movie didn't really have a central antagonist like the first movie or even the second movie did. And you could kind of feel like you could say the High Table was the central antagonist a little bit, but they weren't really, And I think that's where the movie kind of loses a little bit of its charm, or maybe just loses a little bit of the direction. It moved the story forward enough that it was still really enjoyable, but it didn't have a payoff. It was like, hey, here's the payoff to the one part of the like ending to John Wick 2, but the story that we're building here isn't going to pay off at all until a whole nother movie, where he still has to go on the journey to fight the High Table. So I think that's where it kind of falters in its story, and that's why I do like John Wick's 1 a lot better than this one. But it was still super, super fun. The action was just nuts. The action was so much better than the first 2 movies combined, pretty much. And Keanu Reeves just kills it as John Wick, as always. So did all of the other incredible actors in the movie. But it definitely deserves that 8 out of 10 solid ranking. It wasn't quite my favorite movie, but it was way up there. It was such a good movie. If you guys enjoy the John Wick franchise, you are going to love this movie. Now, before we go, I have a couple things to say. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up. If you want to talk about this movie or the John Wick franchise in general, down in the comments, I'll see you guys there, and I might even chime in myself. If you guys want to see more videos like this, talking about movies, music, TV, comic books, games, the whole 9 yards, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and check out my other videos. I have a new introduction video that'll talk about some of the other videos that I'm working on doing and coming out with. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you guys in the next one.